Hey guys, it's Bran, and today I'm going to teach you how to deal damage as Twitch without dying. We won't just be focusing on teamfighting, but this is where Twitch excels at. Teamfighting with Twitch is actually extremely easy compared to other ADCs due to his stealth and ult range, but it does require lots of forward planning. Before you teamfight, analyze all of the particular threats that could kill you. For example, Zed is a very mobile champ that could kill you as soon as you pop out of stealth. What you must think about is, even if he ults someone else, his Living Shadow, Flash or Ghostplay will help him get towards you, and once you are close enough, you will instantly be popped. The main thing to remember is that it's not your problem to kill them. Your team should be able to deal with him, so the only time you should engage is if all of his spells are on cooldown, or he is so low one auto attack could kill him. Other champions such as Jax and Renekton can dive into the backline and kill you, even in a 1v4 situation where they could CC and kill you before they die, which will instantly turn the team fight towards the enemy's favour. Against these champions, just wait for their main gap closer to be used before you pop out of stealth and you should be fine. There are 3 ways you can deal damage as Twitch. It's a traditional backline ADC, a cleanup ADC, or assassin. These are very different ways of playing Twitch, and the last 2 are actually very unique, but each way relies on the same principles. The traditional backline ADC is normally the most commonly used, and this method does not apply to just Twitch but any ADC. All it involves is dishing out as much damage as you can from as far away as possible. When it comes to this method, the most important thing is to remember to follow this rule. Attack whoever's closest to you. If you stand behind your tanks and just auto-attack the nearest enemy, you'll always be in the best position possible to deal damage, because no one will be able to touch you, especially if you are using your ult's maximum range. By keeping your distance and attacking whatever's closest, you'll be harder to kill, and can therefore output maximum DPS just by staying alive and being able to auto-attack all fight long. This should be used when you have supports or tanks that can peel for you, such as Braum and Leona. It should also definitely be used when you are the team's main source of damage, which will almost always be the case. Alright, so in this game I'm playing jungle Twitch. I have a Braum who's actually very good and an ADC Lucian. The first thing we notice is that Rakan is sitting in the bush coming towards us, which means that the enemy team is looking to come towards us. We can't actually see them because we have no wards, but I do know a team fight is about to happen. Notice how I immediately stealth. 15 seconds of stealth is plenty of time, so don't be worried about stealthing too early. It's very important that you aren't seen until you want to be. I thought we were going to converge, which is why I go around, but Braum sees Lux, so I know the team fight is actually going to happen at the tri-bush. We don't spot Varus yet, but more importantly we don't actually spot Evelyn, which is very worrying because she's the main threat to me. If she comes out and nukes me, it's all over, so we have to be very careful. So Braum lands a good Q on Lux, and Lucian dives in to take advantage. Notice how I'm still at the back because I need to keep myself safe. I'm waiting for specific cooldowns, including Lux's root and ult, Varus's ult, and Rakan's ult. The team fight has now fully begun and I'm still nowhere near, which is still good. Alright, so notice how everything has come out. Lux's ult we used, Rakan has ulted, we see Varus's chains of corruptions come out, so I know this is the perfect time to go in. Now look how I enter the fight. I sit behind the wall and use my maximum ult range to keep distance. As I said before, I'm attacking the closest person to me, and look at that, I've done insane damage, got a couple flashes and everyone's running. Always try to save expunge until the last moment because your E range is greater than your ult range, so you want to maximise the number of auto attacks you get. Unfortunately I get binded, so I can't expunge anymore, but Syndra comes in to clean up. Notice how as soon as I get the reset I immediately use it. As we said before, we still don't know where Eve is, so I need to get myself to safety. I go towards Syndra because I know she can protect me. Luckily Syndra lands a beautiful combo and we end up with all 3 kills. The biggest advantage to being a backline ADC is that you cannot die if you maintain proper positioning and you get the right peel. With Twitch especially, because of the way Twitch's ult works, the backline will also take damage when you focus the tanks. However, this method is also weak because it means that the backline of the enemy team, who are more important than the tank, isn't being focused by you, unless they have horrible positioning. Also in low elo, your support will more than likely not know how to peel or be useless, in which case you will instantly be focused and die without dealing damage. The second method is being a cleanup ADC. The way this works is that if the enemy has low health because your teammates manage to deal damage, or all of their spells are on cooldown, you can come in with your ult at a much closer range to deal massive damage. This works really well because you can burst down enemy carries without having to worry about the tanks too much. This style effectively negates the disadvantages of the first method, which is why it's my favourite method. You should use this method when your teammates are able to deal damage without you, so that the enemy wastes cooldown and health. It also works when you are extremely fed. Alright, so this next clip is actually from the same game as last time. My team couldn't deal with the Eve, so they ended up throwing really hard. I also died before and it almost seems like a lost game. This is actually Ornn's first game on the champion, but he played okay even though it's ranked. The enemy are trying to close out the game, but Ornn tries to save the tower, which is actually really stupid. None of our damage dealers are actually anywhere near him, but this is what happens in low elo. Alden gets blown up immediately, and it now seems like the game is fully lost. Syndra also tries to get a kill and misses a stun, but notice how Lux wastes Sonya's. They manage to lock down Syndra, but also notice how Eve makes a bad play. Firstly, she pops out of stealth so I know where she is, but she also wastes her flash, which is very good for us, since she was the main problem. So at this point I'm finally alive, and I decide that as soon as I see an ability go on cooldown, I'm going to engage. Notice how they're all focusing the inhibitor, which means that they aren't focusing you. Also notice how my Braum is nearby, which means that he can peel for me if he needs. I see Lux's E come out, and decide that this is the perfect time to engage. Lux is horribly positioned, which makes it easy for me to kill her, and she cannot get any peel at all. I ult and attack immediately. Notice how much damage I do in the late game, especially to Lux. She doesn't have Zhonya's to defend us all, so I instantly blow her up. The biggest mistake people make is not moving in between auto attacks. This actually saves me when I perfectly sidestepped the Lux binding, which could have killed me. I'm much happier to step into the Varus ult, because Braum is right next to me to peel. I kill Varus, so both carries no longer do any damage. Having Braum near me actually saves me when he perfectly interrupts Rakan's knockup. Instead of focusing Rakan, I focus Trundle because he's low. This means I can get a stealth reset, and that's one less person to worry about. I get charmed and Eve manages to ult me. At this point I'm not too worried if I die because they can't close out the game against Braum. Braum comes out solid again and uses Locket, which saves me from getting bursted down, but remember I still do have flash which I can still use. The stealth actually buys me enough time to reposition slightly away from Eve and attack again. This is why it's so important you mash your Q when you play Twitch in teamfights. Finally, instead of chasing Rakan, I wait to kill Eve, because with the death timers, I know that against Rakan I can easily close out the game. That play actually wins us the game. Never FF in a match when playing Twitch because he can easily turn around games. Remember that if Lux had Zhonya's, or Eve had flash and ult to kill me, I would never be able to do this, so always keep track of cooldowns. You are able to take advantage of both Twitch's stealth reset and damage to destroy the enemy backline, which means that no more damage can be dealt to you or your teammates. It can quickly win games, which is why it's so useful. The biggest disadvantage is that you must have clear knowledge of which cooldowns have been used in order to avoid getting blown up as soon as you pop out of ult. You must also have good mechanics and be able to move while attacking to dodge spells that could CC you. It's a high risk, high reward playstyle that can win you games, but will more than likely lose you games if you do not plan ahead. The final method is to play as an assassin Twitch. This style revolves around getting solo kills so that the enemy team fighting ability is seriously reduced. Using your stealth, you can walk up to the enemy and instantly burst them without any counterplay. You should use this in every game to get yourself fed during the mid game, as well as just before big objectives such as Baron come up to make sure you can get them hassle free. This method also works particularly well if one member of the enemy team is fed. It's always important to remember that it doesn't matter if someone on the enemy team is fed if they're dead. Remember to always stealth after the assassination to avoid dying. For this method, I recommend getting Duskblade and Static Shiv first instead of Runons, because your damage as you come out of stealth will be insane, and you may be able to get a reactive flash from them, as they get scared by the damage even though they're guaranteed to die. The biggest tip I can give is to always stealth from a control ward to avoid being spotted. So in this final clip, I'm actually ahead and looking to close out the game. My mid, ADC and support are actually really bad and they gave kills to the Yi, which is why I'm desperate to end. Always remember that the way to stop your teammates throwing when you have a lead is to close out the game early. I see that Yi is fighting Zed, so I pop myself and clean up the fight. I then look at my map and see that both Zyra and Tristan are very low and 3 kills. I'm nowhere near full health, but you don't need to be to assassinate someone. I want to make sure that Tristana can't kill Teemo or back, so I immediately rush to kill her. If you look at my items, you'll notice that I have both Duskblade and Shiv, and look what happens. In one auto attack she's dead. Immediately I mash my Q and get ready to kill Zyra. I know that she doesn't have enough damage to kill me, so I'm not too concerned about dying. The most important thing to notice is that I don't use my ult at all in any of these assassinations. Never use your ult unless you're playing against a mobile champ, or if you think you don't have enough damage, which will be the case in early assassinations. I don't stealth just yet because I'm clearing minions, and I'm looking at my map to see how my Teemo's doing. I see Echo is engaging Teemo, so I pop my stealth and rush towards him. I know Echo still has ult, which is why I don't attack him just yet. I wait for him to ult first. I still want to save my ult just in case someone like Yi tries to fight me where I'll need the bonus AD, so I walk, making sure that I run around the tower to avoid getting spotted, and then kill him. I could have ended the game at this point, but instead the enemy FF and it's GG. The main advantage is that you do not need teammates to assassinate someone, and it can quickly win you games that your team thought were lost due to a fed enemy team. However, The biggest disadvantage is that if you die because you didn't expect damage from the enemy, you could give them shutdown gold and get them fed. Some enemies, such as Fizz, have dodging abilities that can quickly make things difficult, and some enemies such as Tristan or Varus have bursting power which could kill you quickly. This is my guide on how to deal damage to Twitch. I hope you enjoyed it very much.